Welcome back to Leeds Lately. This is, of course, the match reaction to Leeds United winning 3-1 at Elland Road against Swansea City. Great result. Weird start to the game. Let's get straight into it, but make sure you hit that button down below because we're trying to hit 10k this season. But as you can see from down below me, we've won 3-1. And it was a decent performance, a very good, solid performance, I would say. The first 5 minutes were mental, so we'll start with them. Start at the start, as you always should do. Leeds started pretty slow, pretty quickly, and went up the end of the pitch and scored. Ball in the back of the net. Dan James was offside from Jorginho's pass across. Dan James really should have held his run and done a bit better with that. Leeds weren't switched on from the restart. They went right up the other end of the pitch. Pascal tried to head it back to Rodon. The ball just dropped to Patterson, who, to be fair to him, absolutely fantastic finish. Chipped Meslier right over the goalkeeper's head. Nothing Meslier could have done about it, but really, really good finish. And then a few minutes later, Joel Piroux, the ex-Swansea player, goes and slots it in the bottom corner. Somerville, again, a little bit like... it was almost a carbon copy of the Plymouth goal, where Somerville's running into the edge of the box, waiting for that run where Joel Piroux runs straight past him on his left-hand side. Similar thing, gave it to him. This time, instead of slotting it between the keeper's legs, he curled it round the keeper into the bottom corner. It was a fantastic finish. Really good goal. And Leeds, obviously, were then level for the rest of that half. And interestingly, Swansea started that game really, really fast and were pressing us high, a little bit like what Stoke did when we played against them away and when we struggled. And we did struggle a little bit in the opening exchanges, but obviously we've got both of our goals and then the game settled down. They pressed less and less throughout the game. I think they started to sort of withdraw into themselves a little bit, knowing that maybe they were just trying to stop us having a good start, which is it's a fair play tactic to come and try and do at Elland Road. And I do want to, before we talk about how good Leeds were, I do want to give a bit of credit to Swansea, actually, because they're one of the only teams who's actually come to Leeds, tried to play. I mean, obviously, me giving credit to them for coming and trying to play, it's cost them the game and they've lost 3-1, but I did appreciate up to the point where it was an even game, the fact that they were trying to come and play, they were pressing us, they were trying to play out from the back, they had a clear philosophy and they were actually trying to do something, which I did appreciate them trying to do that. But yeah, so as the half went on, the first half, I did think that Leeds grew into the game a little bit more and it became an even game between Swansea and Leeds. Swansea not really having many chances, Leeds having a good few little chances, but nothing really clear cut. And then towards the end of not towards it, literally right before the halftime whistle, Ethan Ampadu picks up the ball in his own half and you're just sort of walking around with it, like just strolling around, and you go, hold on a sec, why are they giving him all that time? And I genuinely think that opposition teams sometimes give Ampadu not enough respect, and they just let him have the ball as if he's not going to just do what he did. And he saw Jorginho ahead of him. Jorginho had the intelligence and the presence of mind to make a run beyond the defenders just as Ampadu had the ball, because he could see that nobody was closing him down, so he could see that Ampadu would have a clear chance to just knock it over the top. And that's kind of reductive saying to just knock it over the top, because when he did pick up the ball, it was a perfectly weighted pass. He knocked it straight over the top of the defender, and what I loved about it is how it dropped over Jorginho's shoulder like this, right in front of him as he was running. Jorginho's first touch was exquisite. Just pulled it out of the sky, right down, took it in his stride, took it with him and curled it around the keeper into the back of the net. We did to Swansea what Rotherham did to us in that game where you scored just before half-time. And similar to what happened to us in that game against Palace, was it last season or the season before, where Gay scored just before half-time and then we were knackered in the second half. But it really changes the mindset of an opposition team going in at half-time if you do manage to score right before that half-time whistle, and I think Leeds did really well to do that. Excellent vision from Ampadu, amazing pass, brilliant touch to bring it out of the sky, brilliant goal, really, really good football from Leeds. And it shows that we can mix it up a little bit too. It doesn't need to be always the exact Farke style of football to score a goal. Sometimes the players can take it upon themselves to go, hold on, do you know what? He's on. This is on to do this. And you just, over the top, perfect pass from Ampadu, great goal. And you go in at the halftime break and you feel a lot better about it then. obviously then in the second half we start to grow into the game a little bit more. And like I say, I think Swansea started to drop off a little bit more, a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. And I do think in the end, we really did deserve to win that game. Obviously, Dan James getting a goal a bit later on, which didn't really change the outcome of the game. But again, it's really nice to see Dan James get on the score sheet. Really, really good finish from him on his weaker foot, and getting another goal towards his tally this season. So I think, yeah, really good for Dan James to do that. And of course, scoring against his old club, he did. I keep doing that. I keep nearly tapping the Adidas badge. He did do that on his badge to the Leeds fans, so potentially his allegiances have changed a little bit. But he's not really from Wales anyway. He's from Hull. But yeah, so we won the game in the end, and let's talk a little bit about the players. I think Meslier didn't have much to do, and like I said, he couldn't really do much about the first goal. And we talk about the defence. Byram, fantastic. The goal, Dan James's goal, I've just remembered. I was kind of avoiding it because I couldn't remember what happened, but I do remember what happened now. Sam Byram flew into a tackle on the halfway line. The ball went straight to Jorginho. Then Jorginho made a run with the ball and played the ball into Dan James, who obviously finished it into the roof of the net where the keeper couldn't quite stop it from going in. But Sam Byram, excellent. I think Strauch again. We so much better having him in the team than Cooper. It's not Cooper's fault, but Strauch is a better player now, and Strauch really did well to organise us from the back. It allowed Rodon to go back to his normal role of being that almost sweeper, but also bringing the ball out from the back and sometimes charging into the midfield. Archie Gray had a really good game, even went up against somebody like Yannick Bolasie, who came on a little bit later on, who is notoriously a very tricky winger and somebody who is full of tricks. That's what tricky means, Max. I don't need to say it twice. But Archie Gray did really well to contain him. Then when you look at the midfield, Ampadu, obviously I've already talked about him, so we won't go into that too much, but really good game. Kamara, I love the way he turns on the ball. Love the way he's always positive, wanting to go forward. I thought he had a really good game as well. Then you look at Jorginho, back to a lot, maybe not quite his best that we've seen this season, but a lot better than what he was like against Rotherham, nursing that injury. I think he was a lot better tonight. Joel Piroux, a lot more involved in the play tonight than a lot of games that he has been this season. So I thought Joel Piroux actually had a really good game and got himself a goal as well. And then we talk about, who is the other one? Dan James obviously scored his goal, really, really good. Somerville played really well as well. He probably could have got himself on the score sheet a couple of times, but it just didn't quite work out for him. But I did think he did well to drive us forward, leading those counter-attacks for us, doing really well in those situations where he can drag us up the pitch and get us forward. So I think all in all, everybody had a good game, really. We brought on a couple of substitutes. I won't really go into them too much. They were okay. Nobody did anything particularly wrong. I thought Nonto looked quite lively when he came on. Looked like he was creating a few things, but maybe didn't have enough time to have too much of an impact on the game. And then Firpo did okay, actually, and there was one moment where he headed the ball out and it was a really good defensive situation, defensive awareness he had to go and win that ball. So I do want to give him credits where he's due, because we do slate him when he does things wrong, but for that moment I think he was really well positioned to take the ball away there. So yeah, I mean, 3-1, excellent result for us, especially considering that Leicester drew 1-1 with the team that they played, who's it just escapes me. Sheffield Wednesday, Jeff Hendrick scored in the 93rd minute for them, and it was a draw against Leicester, so that gap is back down to 8 points again, so that's really good for Leeds fans globally. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, tomorrow, or maybe probably today when you're watching this, there'll be a tactics video talking about Pascal Strauch and how important he is at keeping the tempo going of Leeds. So have a look at that. Back to the Leeds Lately tactics board, and there'll be plenty more at the weekend. There'll be a live stream. There'll be a match reaction, all that good stuff. So get subscribed, hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload, and I shall see you next time on Leeds Lately. Come on, Leeds!